Looks like I have to be hospitalized for a long time. When I shared this, my entire family laughed it off. Serves you right. You really are a hopeless nuisance. That's how my husband and mother-in-law mocked me. I finally made up my mind to cut ties with them. Ray, taken aback, said, Hey, why didn't you tell me? My ex-husband yelled this over the phone. It seems that only now, years later, he has realized the truth. I told him, dripping with sarcasm. Really bright of you to notice only now. My name is Holly. I'm a 42-year-old office worker. I've been married to Ray for 18 years. We were college classmates. We started dating in our junior year of college and continued even after we became working professionals. Work was hectic after joining the company, and there were times we drifted apart, but we managed to get through them. At 24, he proposed to me. He said, I've finally gotten used to the job, and things are settling down. I've been waiting to say this for a long time. We've gotten through tough and distant times because I truly love you. It might be a bit early, but I want to be honest about my feelings. Holly, will you marry me? It was so unexpected that I was shocked, but his words made me very happy. So I accepted his proposal and we got married. We had a wonderful wedding and started our married life. Soon after, we discovered I was pregnant. Ray, who loves kids, was thrilled and became even more dedicated to his work. Life felt blissful. I often think back fondly on those days as the happiest. Little did I know, that was the peak of our happiness. As the pregnancy progressed, I started preparing for childbirth and went on maternity leave. Then Ray asked his mother, Lori, to help with household chores during the day. Holly, I think it's best if you rest, so I've asked Mom to help out. Ray said, Thank you, I replied, grateful for his thoughtfulness and care for our child. But as soon as Lori started coming over, I encountered unpleasantness. Holly, you're terrible at cleaning. How can it be this dirty? It'll take until the next day to get it spotless if I come in the morning, Lori complained. The fridge is barely stocked. Are you even cooking properly? Did you decide on the interior arrangement? It lacks taste. Your room is the worst, she continued. Though she did help with chores, she constantly nagged and criticized me. I tried to brush it off with a wry smile or a light apology, but she never stopped belittling me. However, since she was actually doing the chores, I couldn't complain. Ray was too busy with work, so I couldn't discuss it with him. So I decided to go back to my parents' house for childbirth. But when I told Lori, she exploded. After all I've done for you, you're going back to your parents? Normally, you'd thank me and give me a generous amount of money. I couldn't believe her words. I was grateful for her help, but her demanding money for it? Then please ask my husband for the money for your services, I suggested. That won't do. I did the chores for you, so you should pay me. If you're going back to your parents, that's the condition. Lori insisted. Okay then, how about $700 for the 2 months you've helped? I proposed. She did help, but not with everything. She helped with tasks like cleaning the bathroom or doing laundry, which were hard on me, but only prepared lunch. And she only made my lunch because she was making her own anyway. I handled weeknight dinners, and she didn't even come on weekends because Ray was home. Plus, I was the one paying for groceries. So $700 seemed more than fair, even generous. But her response was shocking. What? That's nowhere near enough. It should be $3,000 for 2 months at $1,500 a month, she exclaimed. That's way too much, I protested. What are you talking about? You should be grateful I'm even willing to lower it to $3,000, she argued. Her demands were unreasonable. So I said, no, I can't pay you that much. $700, take it or leave it. And handed her the money. She complained. I told you that's not enough. But I ignored her. Then I told Ray about going back to my parents for childbirth when he came back from work. He was surprised, but seemed to understand when I mentioned reducing his mother's burden and being asked to show my face back home. I went back to my parents and spent a peaceful time until giving birth to a beautiful baby girl. Oh, she's as cute as an angel, Ray exclaimed, overjoyed as he held our daughter at the hospital. Naturally, Lori also came. I didn't want to see her after everything, but she had a right to meet her granddaughter, so I didn't refuse. Holding the baby, though, Lori said, Good, she looks like her father. If she had looked like Holly, well... Her insinuation was clear, and not only was I offended, but my parents were shocked too. Yet Ray didn't say a word to her. Was he oblivious to her digs at me? Back home, Ray and Lori confronted me with angry faces. Holly, I heard from Mom. You went back to your parents to avoid her? She's been really upset. Ray accused and Lori pretended to cry. Did I do something wrong? Why am I being treated so poorly after all the hard work I put in? Ray comforted her. Mom, you didn't do anything wrong. Holly's just being difficult. I was furious. What's that supposed to mean? Every time she came over, I had to endure her nagging and criticism. That's why I went back home. Then she demanded money for her help. I exclaimed. She did the chores, so of course you have to pay. You didn't expect her to do it for free, did you? What? I was taken aback. I can't believe you're so arrogant, he said. Whoa, hold on. I did pay her, I clarified. How much did you pay her? For 2 months of housework, you must have given her at least $1,500, right? Well, it was about $700. That's way too little. Give her the remaining $300 right now. I had no choice but to comply and pay the money after being pressured by him. Mom, I'm sorry. If I had taught her better, this wouldn't have happened. It's okay. Holly was just a bit emotionally unstable because she was so close to giving birth. You're so sweet, Mom. Hey, Holly, you better thank her. And make sure you take care of the baby properly. He ordered me around like this, clearly taking her side and treating me as the bad guy. I became anxious about our future as a couple, but having just given birth to our daughter, I didn't see it as much of a problem. I had my precious treasure, whom I had carried and given birth to. As long as I can love this child, then the relationship with my mother-in-law and husband doesn't seem like much of a problem. We named our daughter Lucy. She was incredibly cute, truly like an angel. When interacting with Lucy, even my husband and mother-in-law were surprisingly kind and peaceful towards me. It seemed like we might manage as a family after all. However, as Lucy grew older, problems began to arise. I went back to work after my maternity leave ended, and Lori took care of Lucy during the day. But every time I came home from work, I found new toys and sweets. Of course, Lori was the one buying them for her. I confronted her immediately. Lori, did you buy her something new again? Well, she wanted it. It's fine, isn't it? If you keep buying her everything she wants, she'll grow up spoiled. I don't want her to experience hardship. If she wants something and I can buy it, then why not? She wouldn't listen to anything I said. Even when I consulted Ray, he agreed with her, so my concerns were dismissed. I had no choice but to be strict with Lucy. But the stricter I was with her, the more she clung to my husband and Lori. "I hate you because you're mean," she once said to my face, which was truly shocking. But what I really didn't like was the idea of her growing up spoiled and without compassion. So I interacted with her firmly, even if it meant being the bad guy. However, Lori indulged her daughter's every whim, buying her whatever she asked for. Despite my efforts, Lucy grew increasingly spoiled. She even started having expensive brands of wallets and bags as a middle and high school student, all bought by Lori. But the money for these came from me, actually. Lori had told me, "My pension is small, and my husband's inheritance is gone. I'm in trouble." I suggested she ask Ray for support, but she didn't want to worry her son. It had been about 10 years since her husband passed away, and she had already spent his inheritance. "If you won't send me money, I'll move in and live with you," she threatened. Reluctantly, I began sending her about $1,500 a month. Yet, she frequently spoiled my daughter with expensive gifts. What was going on? The money I sent surely wasn't enough. Perhaps she had a substantial pension and a plentiful inheritance? I wanted to know more, but any probing could lead her to fabricate stories and make me out to be the villain to Ray. So I had no way of knowing the true state of her finances. But one day, when I went to her house, I stumbled upon a shocking fact. "Holly, please clean the room," Lori told me. While reluctantly cleaning, I found something in her room. "What are these? Oh my God, are these?" It was a collection notice and documents related to debt repayment. Her room was a mess, but I happened to find these financial documents on her desk. "You've got to be kidding!" She was in debt for about $150,000, accumulated from revolving credit payments and credit card bills. Working in finance, I immediately understood the documents. Discovering her secret like this, I pretended not to know and went back to cleaning. After finishing, I returned to the living room, where they had ordered pizza without me. Ray was happily drinking, and Lori and Lucy were eagerly eating pizza. "Oh, you finished cleaning?" "Yes, and I see you started eating pizza." I sat down, dismayed they had started eating without waiting for me. Then she said, "Oh, there's none for you." "What?" "Of course, I ordered it. I only buy for my dear family. But I guess I can let you have the crust if you want." And she placed the crust in front of me. "Mom, you should go on a diet, so just have the crust," Lucy said. "Yeah, good idea. You've gotten quite ugly. But a crust diet might make you even crustier," Ray joked. I was utterly disheartened by their taunts and the demeaning jokes from my husband, mother-in-law, and daughter. They seemed to find pleasure in tormenting me, each thinking they weren't in the wrong because they were doing it together. I had reached my limit. Then they dropped a bombshell. "Next month, Mom will move in with us," Ray said. "Sure what?" "I'm looking forward to living with Grandma." "Me too, Lucy." "Hold on, why is she moving in?" "Oh, I'm not taking your opinions or questions. Selling this house and living together will ensure a secure future for her. You get that, right?" "Mom's not too bright," Lucy remarked. "Lucy, I'm glad you take after your father," Lori added. They ridiculed me like this. Unbelievable. I had enough. I couldn't keep up with their unilateral decisions any longer. I wanted some time to think calmly, so I decided to stay in a business hotel for a couple of weeks. But knowing they would oppose just staying away, I decided to take a gamble. I need to talk to you," I approached Ray. He responded grudgingly. What is it? Wondering if even talking as a couple was too much trouble for him, I said, Looks like I have to be hospitalized for a long time. I announced, only to be met with derisive laughter from my family. Hospitalized? Serves you right, Lori exclaimed. I hadn't even noticed when Lori and Lucy had joined us. It's because of your bad karma. You're such a burden, Ray mocked. They weren't my family. Not really. I was ready to cut ties with them. Fine, let's get a divorce so I won't be a burden anymore. The treatment costs are quite high, and I might not be able to cover them on my own. Oh, we're definitely not paying for that, Ray declared. Ray, honey, you should divorce her quickly. I can't stand the thought of her medical expenses eating into our finances. Make sure there's no financial settlement, Lori interjected. I internally celebrated her helpful suggestion. I didn't want to give any of my earnings to Ray, so I have been looking for a way to avoid a financial settlement. I never thought she'd suggest it herself. Ray laughed, agreeing. That's right. Figure out your treatment costs on your own. Getting a serious illness and being alone? Mom, you're such a lonely person. But it's all your own doing, Lucy mocked. My love had clearly never reached her. Well, let her be influenced by my husband and mother-in-law and stray from the path. I quietly packed my bags and left the house. It was good that I only booked the hotel for a week. I quickly signed a lease for an apartment and moved in. The divorce from Ray was finalized, and he got custody. Now I can save on your portion of the food and living expenses. Life's gonna get easier, he said during the divorce proceedings. He couldn't be more wrong. You just watch. Life's going to get way harder for you, I thought to myself. He seemed unaware of his mother's debt. Well, I had no obligation to tell him. I kept silent and started a new life on my own. With the money I used to contribute to the household, I could live quite comfortably. I kept my living expenses low, my salary increased over the years, and I was able to save. One day, while enjoying my hobbies, Ray called me out of the blue. Hey, why didn't you tell me? He yelled over the phone. Apparently, he had just found out about the debt. I had no idea Mom had that much debt. I couldn't help but respond with heavy sarcasm. Really bright of you to notice only now. Don't mess with me. If you knew about the $200,000 debt, you should have told me sooner. Oh? I only knew about $150,000. It's increased since then? She really is hopeless. Anyway, since you live with us, you should help pay off the debt. Mom and Lucy are both working full-time to make payments. Lucy couldn't even go to college because of Mom's debt. If you feel even a little sorry, you should offer some financial help. He made such an unreasonable demand. I was so glad to be rid of him. Well, I don't feel sorry, so I won't be offering any assistance. I'm hanging up now. Good luck with the debt repayment, however long it may take. I ended the call and blocked my ex-husband and daughter's numbers. Knowing their unfortunate situation gave me a sense of satisfaction. I was far happier now. Their future looked bleak, to say the least. Feeling a bit of guilty pleasure from their predicament, I headed out to meet some friends who share my passions. And we spent a delightful time together at a cafe.